Hello guys, Death Trooper with you here. I've got a special for you today. This is going to be Dimaga versus MouzMANA. Now this is in the tournament, BOL tournament. I'm not exactly sure where it was. I think it was in Europe, and I'm not sure the prize money or any details about this tournament, or even if this was the final round or not. I think this might be near the end. Anyway, I plan on casting the entire series between MouzMANA and Dimaga from this tournament, so stay tuned for that. This is my first time using, since patch 1.3, the new replay viewer, which shows us resource counts of both players, races, colors, so it's really handy, and supply count. So that should hopefully make commentating a lot easier. Now we have high APMs. I found a new replay site which has only all pro replays and all mostly tournament pro replays, so I hope to do a lot more tournament replay casts. And I've also noticed that other commentators out there on YouTube haven't casted this game or this series in particular, so this should be exciting. Hopefully this is one of the highest rating games I found on that site, so hopefully this turns out to be a really exciting and fulfilling game here. We have MouzMANA as the Protoss spawning in the bottom right corner. He is just scouting around for his Zerg opponent. He has now found it, Dimaga being the red Zerg in the top left corner. Dimaga so far not opting for the pool, so he is going to be going for an expansion before spawning pool. As you can see, he does have 300 resources, and he's going to throw it down right now. Luckily for him, MouzMANA did not try and deny this or delay it with a pylon or just probe harassment in this area. So that worked out for Dimaga well, that Mana went in here to scout this, and we're just seeing here now a spawning pool coming up. I'll leave the production tab open for those of you who want to see up here. Down here we have Forge first. Could this be a Forge fast expand? Most likely that is what we're going to see. We can tell this because it's down the ramp here. It's down in front of the natural, and he's using the Forge kind of to begin walling this off. He's probably going to put a gateway here, and then maybe a cannon over here behind it. That's what I would do anyway. I'm not sure of his exact placement. There is the Nexus, so he's halfway behind the expansion that Dimaga has. Dimaga has not scouted him successfully yet, using Overlords to scout and not opting for the drone scout. Very risky because it is susceptible to an early Zealot rush, but we know that that's not happening. In fact, no, it's going to be a cannon rush. Instead of defending, he's being aggressive with these cannons before the creep spread comes up. These cannons are definitely in range of this hatchery. Not sure what Dimaga can do. He doesn't have any Zerglings at the moment. He is throwing down the Roach Warren, and he does actually have 4 Zerglings, but that is not going to be enough to deal with this many cannons. So here come the Zerglings poking and prodding, but it's already too late. There's already a cannon built down here. Excellent decision here by Mana. Now Dimaga opting to go for the Zergling run-by and go straight for his lead instead. Dimaga is definitely going to lose this hatchery. Look at how fast he goes down to those cannons. Definitely a slip-up, but he does have the Roach Warren now. Opting to get Lings still instead of Roaches. Interesting to see. Anyway, just as I had suggested, and there was a gap here. I didn't even notice that myself. I was kind of unsure. I'm not sure if Mana did that intentionally or accidentally, but he did leave a gap. I suppose it's intentional because he did hard wall here, and his cannon is going to go down. Those 4 Zerglings, but his probes easily able to fend that off. Throw down another cannon. So similar placement as I suggested. The gateway is still here, but instead of putting the cannon here, because I expected him to have an opening up here, he's going to wall up here, have his opening down here, and his cannon back here. That means for now, once this cannon comes up, for future Zerglings to get in, they're going to have to run in and all the way around here just to get at the cannon. They're not even going to be able to get a good surround on it. And Roaches, only 1 or 2 will be able to hit it from the ramp. So this is very good placement, very good city going on here by Mana. And now he's got saturation up on this expansion. Meanwhile, the expansion over here has been taken out. These cannons were taken down. I apologize, I missed that. I'm assuming to Lings or Roaches, and it looks like Roaches. So that's what took that out. He is producing more Roaches. I'm not sure if he's going to commit to a 1 base all in here and try to bust this in. Mana throwing down a lot more cannons. I definitely agree with this. I think he should also try and get some units out, but Zealots are bad against Roaches, so he does desperately need this Cyber Core for the Stalkers. I believe he opted to hardwall. Yes, he did hardwall over here, so there is no gap for Zerglings. And any roaches that want to come up this ramp are going to have to beef their way through all of this. And throwing down another cannon. Great play by Mana here. I don't believe Dimaga is going to be able to bust in here with this. Let's look at the APMs tab for combat here. With very high APMs, he's going to go for the excellent play. I don't think like that. And even the Mana, he's desperately going down another column. This column, he actually excellent choice by Dimaga. He did lose a lot of roaches though. This column will be up in and out of range of roaches. So perhaps that wasn't necessarily worth it. I think the second this column gets up, he should run away. That's exactly what he's doing. He's back in. He's not back in. And oh yes he is. He wants to be able to hit that forge. He doesn't want to risk losing any more roaches. So Mana's slowing down another cannon. And oh wow, his cyber core's not powered either, so he cannot be getting that warp gate research. That is critical. Now at the same time he's got a hatchery coming up. I'll switch back to the production tab over here. We have this Overlord providing vision up here, so that's how Dimaga is able to hit this forge from the lower ramp. He's moving this away. I guess he figures a stalker's coming out, but in fact, well, a stalker is coming out, but a zealot is also coming out. This forge might go down, and it does. Luckily there was no upgrades there, but that will mean there are no more cannons for MouzMANA as he throws down another forge, which is a costly investment. So that was decent damage by Dimaga, but he did lose 6 or 7 forges. Let's look at the units lost tab here. We can see that it's actually exactly even. Unbelievable. So it seems that was worth it for Dimaga, I guess, at least catching up, and he's opting to expand again, so he's almost kind of doing a double expansion, trying to catch up and get ahead of the Protoss. You cannot be equal bases with the Protoss opponent. You have to be ahead, or you at least want to be ahead anyway if you want to be a certain player. Now that warp gate research is starting to happen, but we already have a void ray coming out, and yes, the other forge is getting thrown down. I do not believe Dimaga has scouted this. This is going to be a void ray coming out, no phoenix or anything like that just yet anyway, so we're going to see if he's going to go in with this one void ray. I think he needs to wait for at least 2, because I believe 1 or 2 queens can hold this off, no problem, and he should have 2 queens. Yes, he has 3 queens even, so this void ray is actually just going to be going around sniping the overlords, and actually these roaches are going towards a void ray as well, so we're going to have to see here what's going to happen if MouzMANA is going to make this happen with this void ray, really make it worth it. It is a costly investment and a costly tech tree to go up, but as you can see, it did supply block Dimaga, so that was an excellent play here. I am liking this new information available just up in the corner here at all times. These queens are transferring over the expansion. He needs to get out of here. Mana needs to back up with this void ray. He cannot afford to lose it. The queens are off creeper right now, so Mana needs to utilize their slow speed and draining down. Well, I guess not really sure what he wanted to target there. First the spine crawler, then the hatchery, now the roaches. The queens are back in range again. He needs to get out of here. I think he should move up to the other natural. Well, there is a queen there anyway, but he does definitely need to get out of here. 2 queens versus 1 void ray is a definitely win for the queens. So we're going to see here if he's going to be able to do any more successful harassment. Is Dimaga going to respond in time? He is. Also note Zerging speed and 20 Zerglings are on the way, and some sentries probably for force fields. So it's going to be interesting. Both players are kind of building an interesting unit combination, and they're both kind of countering each other well at this point in time. I would say Mana is ahead just because he managed to delay this expansion with the cannons, and he managed to get his own out before the Zergs. Now he has full saturation on here, so he's going to have a very good income here. Let's look at the income tab, and believe it or not, the Zerg is a lot higher in income, but that's because he's got all of this at his 3rd up. So definitely Dimaga pulled ahead. This was a great idea to expand here. I guess he knew that Protoss wouldn't have enough to push out in time. Now these 20-lings better make it happen. There's a whole bunch of sentries here, which are not that great against things, but that is a lot of force fields, which this stalker is probably does. These things have to get out of there. He needs to keep every unit he has right now, because this is a critical timing push. Excellent timing by Mana, excellent sense in the game of when to push here. Dimaga really has nothing at this point, beasting out 8 roaches while he can, and trying to get that Spire down as well. Not that I really necessarily agree a Spire will help in this situation. I don't think Mutilisks will make any difference right now. I think he definitely needs to get some roaches and hydras out or something to deal with these units, because definitely a Spire is not going to help him. So anyway, here comes the push. That Dimaga looks to be in a lot of trouble here. Force fielding off the ramp from behind. Excellent play by Mana. Oh, the Link's still getting by just a crack with another force sealing the deal. Excellent guardian shield here. The Zealot's getting a tearing hit. The Spine Columns all going down. These Roaches here just spazzing out while the higher range Stalkers get excellent shots in. Just going crazy over here. Dimaga units really hard hitting. Looks like MouzMANA is going to push up and he'll snipe the Spire, which is huge. Is he going to force field this ramp off? Let's see it. Force field, coming on blood. It looks like he might be out of sectors actually. He had fallen back, which is kind of bad position. Could have maybe played that better. All these Roaches are definitely going to be moving this up. Excellent build by Dimaga, able to combat that many Roaches that quickly. I mean, he did lose the Spire. Really, I think that was perfect. His economy wasn't even startled in the slightest. He still has his queens. He's really not delayed by anything. Double Evo chamber going down. Looks like he's going to try and catch up in upgrades and get ahead of time. He's already at 2 upgrades, so he is definitely ahead. He has been building them in that forge. Looks like Mouz was going to push out again with an Observer and an Immortal this time, which counters those Roaches beautifully. But, and I'm not sure if he wants to come into this or not. It looks like he's just going to try and take this expansion and hold on to it. Now know that there is a Destructible Rocks here in the back of his base, which does lead to this next expansion that Dimaga is opting to take. We also see Extended Thermal Lance upgrade on the way, so we are going to see Colossi, and there is going to be some Robotics Bay already down here, so that is definitely excellent decision by Mana. Right now, it seems that the Colossi Void Ray Ball is the new unstoppable thing for Protoss players versus Zerg specifically. He's not producing more Void Rays, but I guess that comes into effect in the late stages of the game. So he is interesting cannon placement. Actually, I guess it kind of protects both, but in my opinion, they're out in the middle and kind of vulnerable. And I don't necessarily like that. I would have liked to have put a cannon here if I were him, and here, just because all of this back will be vulnerable to harassment on this mineral line once these rocks come down at this expansion here. So definitely, I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. He does have this expansion up in good position, and it doesn't look like, and I was just going to say, it doesn't look like that Dimaga's breaking down those rocks anytime soon, and here he goes, breaking down those rocks. So we're going to see if it actually paid off for him to keep these cannons up here, or if he should have put them in the back like I had suggested. We'll see what's going to happen, if he's going to utilize harassment from this ledge, or if he's just going to break up into the main from these rocks. MouzMANA didn't even put a pylon over here. He has no vision on these rocks whatsoever, so he won't know if they're going down. And look at that timing sense, throwing down the pylon just when Dimaga's coming over here to destroy these rocks. That was Ninja, Lock, or Pro, I don't know what that was, but that was amazing timing sense by Mana. This Colossi getting some free shots here, but these rocks are going down tremendously fast, and Mana does have his army in position in time. He does force the land, trying to kill those Zergers off, and those Roaches are going to have to fall back and be destroyed. They might get the snipe off of the Colossus. He needs to back up right now, needs to stop shooting, and it is out of range, so it doesn't take damage, so it's okay. Alright, so we're still just seeing one Robo Facility and no Void Rays being pumped. I would have expected 1 or 2 more Robo Facility and 1 or 2 more Stargate, or maybe just 1 of each more. Now that he's up on Rays already, he needs to start pumping those Void Ray Colossi, unless he's just going for a Blink Stalker kind of Colossi. We're just seeing Mass Stalker Colossi. That is a big competition. He did have some problems. I don't know what happened to them. I apologize. I might have missed that a little bit. I'm not going to rewind. I don't think it's worth it at this point in time. Dimaga now expanding all over the map, expanding up here again as well. So he's going to be on a 5-base Zerg versus a 3-base Protoss. A very healthy position for the Zerg player, although the Protoss is definitely not out. And oh, here are these Immortals. So they did not die. I did not miss anything. Okay, secures the battle. I will focus and pay attention. Getting those level 2 weapon upgrades now, and you can also see that Extra Lands upgrade is on the way. So the players seeing the top teams getting some ultimates to do, so it's good to see them. And I agree with this one. I think that's going to play very well. doesn't have Blink just yet, but still Stalker is very effective against these builds, even without Blink enough. So definitely massively. This is a great surround by the Zerg player. Raptors here sniping the Colossi. Investors get the This is a very close battle. Looks like Man is going to pull out ahead just barely. They are transmitting by Dimaga in this battle. We have Raptors having to fall back. And now the Ultralisks are out. And Man is falling back. I don't know if Mana saw that and that's why he's falling back, or if he just randomly decided to fall back anyway. But that was perfect timing to fall back. Dimaga now with these Ultras will easily be able to tear through those gateway units. So definitely Mana needs to be careful. He needs to produce more Immortals now and really start pumping Immortals over Colossi in my opinion, because the Corruptor count on Dimaga is already pretty decent, and these Ultralisks are pretty armor heavy, and Immortals will tear through them a lot faster than Colossi will. And it's not air that Mana needs to worry about right now, so Immortals are an okay decision. But I guess Colossi are semi-decent too if you do have them in the back, and he is actually in fact pumping pure Immortals now at this point. I did see a Blink there. Okay, so he does now have Blink up. I was right about that. Still nothing producing from this Stargate. I really would think that some Void Ring count is going to get a scram here. Dimaga is scrapping him. That's Blink to kind of get out of there. These Ultralisks is just beasting against him. Really going down. If he did go down, it does need to fall back now. He did do some decent damage. Yes, he needed to. None of the Stalkers really died, although they are really all low in health. They do have low health. So their shields will recover, but they will remain weak as there is no heals for the Protoss. So Dimaga is still pumping Infestors and Ultralisks. Good mix here by Dimaga. Also still having a few Corruptors. Tons of Overlords here, just having a party time. This 5th expansion up and running, fully saturated now. We do have a few units over here not doing anything. Great hard wall-off cannon placement. There actually might be a gap here that Lings can get by, but that's so many cannons that it just wouldn't even be worth it to attempt to run by Lings. And because the main is now mined out, it's not worth it. We do have the Templar Archives coming down now, so there's going to be some storms coming out here. And here's the Twilight Council that I missed from before. Throwing down a couple more gateways, so he's going to have 8 in total. Here's the second Robo Bay I was talking about, Robo Facility rather. Still not producing anything out of that Stargate. Going to stick to a strictly ground arm and opting to go straight for Archons, not Storm first. Very interesting play. I suppose Archons do decently against those Ultralisks, but that's very interesting anyway. They do have beast damage, 74, okay, a lot better than I thought. So I guess that's the Protoss counter. I don't play Protoss myself, so I've never even seen Archons really used like this before, so very interesting. I'm excited to see how they're going to turn out here. So that was good. Good play by Mana, good play by Dimaga. That was a good little push. I'd say both players are probably close to equal. We'll look at the units lost tab, and they are very, very close to equal. Very astonishing to see 26 minutes in game time, and both players almost exactly identical in units lost. So very close game here. I'm thinking, well, Mana did expand up here. I'm sorry I missed that. There's been so much battles going on here, but it looks like Mana probably wants to be looking to take his 5th base soon. As well, which I didn't notice. So both players constantly expanding and battling. Excellent macro game and getting tons of Archons out. I do like to see this. So we're going to see some new interesting play here that I've never even seen much of before. So I never see this on the ladder myself against me, and I've never seen this in pro games before, really, like a heavy Archon build. and it's going to be very interesting to see what he's going to be able to do with these Archons. I'm not sure if this was before patch 1.3 and if he's going to try and do the Mothership Archon toilet. I don't think he is. I don't think that's actually like a real strategy, but with all these Archons, it would be funny to see. But anyway, we'll just have to see how this plays out. Does have Colossi here. I think he's going to need some more meat with this army. He is warping in some more Stalkers and getting another Archon, so that is good. He is looking kind of thin at this point in time. The Zerg player maxed out. I think Dimaga really needs to keep pushing while he's maxed out, because he cannot let that Protoss army max out. A Zerg army against a maxed out Protoss army will lose, and he needs to keep hammering the Protoss units and keep their ball down to a limited physical count. Nice Zerg replacement by managing to let him snipe all these Protoss and back those Ruptors. So he's just moving ahead, taking out this creature. I'm not sure why Dimaga's not utilizing this advantage and moving in on these Stalkers. They do have Blink and they can escape, but at least he can push them back. He is moving forward now. Got lots of energy on all of these Infestors, so we're probably going to see some fungal growth Baneling action here. That's going to be Ninja. Let's see how this goes down. It does seem like actually excellent descent by Dimaga. After this Colossi and here we have a very close battle, back and forth game, very intense. I'm on the edge of my seat here. Mined out at the natural now. You don't see that too often. Almost even mined out at the second base. He's got his 5th expansion up now, so good play by him. Constantly patrolling these rocks, good play as well. He doesn't need to place a pylon there because he already has max supply, so it would be a waste of 100 minerals. He's just going to use a 50 mineral worker. Very smart, very intelligent play here. That's the slight differences, those little things that make the differences between pro players and regular master players. So, okay, here we have Dimaga kind of making a little poke and prod with Lings, but not going to commit to it. I guess too many Colossi here, and the cannons are not going to be able to get in on him. Dimaga is expanding down here though, not saturated yet, but he does have both gases up, so at any time he wants he can transfer workers down here and saturate that no problem. It doesn't look like he's going to run out anytime soon though. He doesn't even have full saturation at this base yet. His main is mined out, his natural is mined out, and this one is almost mined out too. But he actually doesn't have very many workers. I would expect to see more workers, but I guess he wants to use all of his supply for army, which I don't blame him. Each worker is one army unit that you do not have, so good for him. Both players trying to expand here at the same time. You can see the hatchery is already building while the Nexus is trying to be built on top of that. So kind of funny there, both players pushing for that expansion. Interesting. It looks like Dimaga's going to push forward here. Sorry, I'm just running out of breath. Mana here, grouping up, might be moving a little bit too far ahead. Ultralisks are no longer going to be able to beast through his army like they were before, and with these Archons in there, that's just a dirty composition now by Mana here. I really like to see this. I think at this point Broodlords would be very good because he only has 8 Stalkers. Well, now he just brought up 5 when I said that, but he does have only a few Stalkers with this composition, so he's lucky. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get that on the time. He is committing to Ultralisks. He is don't blame him, but he's going to need something more than just the meat. He's going to need some Hydras in the back, something going on. Just Ultralisks by themselves is not going to be able to do this. And is now at maxed out 2, so Dimaga is not pushing hard enough on him, not keeping him on his feet. Just killing all of those investors. hope you guys enjoyed. I'll cast the next game for sure.